Right then, let's see what we can make out of this really weird shaped piece of tiger wood. Right then, let's have a look at this lump of wood. What is a cookie off basically a tiger wood tree, but it's just cut weird. I got it because I think it was sent over to some sort of packing, and that's how I ended up with it. I think it was used like to pack stuff into trucks and stuff, and this was just used as a piece of packing. Not ideal for turning because it's cut the wrong way, but anybody who's watched the channel knows I like doing end grain bowls, but I don't want to waste any of this, so I want to need to look at it, find out the best way of cutting it so there's little or no wastage, right? Right, so my biggest problem is right down there is a massive crack, and I want to avoid that. So anything I do will need to be kind of above that line, right? Now what I have here is on this side, it is just 10 inches, right? So I figure if I cut 13, I need to go from there to there. No, that's way too big. So I will get 13, which is 6.5, which is there. Spin it around. We go below there. Maybe a 12-inch bowl out of this. 6 to 12. Slide it across so it stays in. Yeah, I got a 12-inch bowl there. Right. So I think the biggest bowl I can get out of this is a 12. I'll get the marking discs out. We make this. Let's see how many we can get out of this. Right, that's a 13. That's a 12. Right, so there's a 12 there. That's too small. Right. So if I get a 12-inch out of there, it's too thick. Try a black marker. Right. Right, that's a 12-inch end grain. I might be able to go bigger. That's a 13. Right, that's a 13-inch end grain I can get out of there. Rid of that. Right, I can get a 13-inch end grain there. Right, there'll be enough left there for goblets and stuff. Down this end, so I'm still trying to avoid that big crack there. Right, now, how wide will that end up? 6 inches. About 5-6 inches, depending on when I clean it off. Right, so I think my best bet is to get the main piece out of there, a 13-inch end grain bowl. Right, and then this section here, goblets. Right, it says 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 goblets there. End grain goblets, they're different, right? And then I have this whole section down here, for other stuff. I think that's probably the best way to cut this. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut that circle out and then chop it so it's flat, and we'll end up with that. So today's video is going to be that end grain bowl. So I'll get on with this, and depending if the rain stops, I'll show you me chainsawing it up, because I don't want to get the cameras wet. And we'll do this end grain bowl and see how it turns out. So we have an end grain Tigerwood bowl. Right then, we've got this blank on the lathe. Now when I cut into it, it didn't stop raining long enough for me to film the chainsawing, sorry. When I cut into it, there was a big inclusion on it, just there, that really twisted, right? So I ended up doing a 12 instead of a 13, but it still should be a nice bowl. As I said, end grain Tigerwood, it's something I haven't done on video before, and but only look, it should be pretty. Right, so first thing I'm going to do, round it off, and I'm going to put a tenon on it, because you should never use a mortise on end grain. It's dodgy because it's not as strong, let's put it that way. Right, so I'll round this off, put a tenon on it, and we'll get on with this. Now then, the thing to remember when you're doing end grain is everything's kind of backwards, because don't think of an end grain bowl as a bowl blank. It's not, it's a giant spindle. So remember, spindle rules apply, cut downhill, all that kind of stuff, right? We'll give this gouge a sharpen. I'm just going to keep cutting until I get the rough shape I'm looking for. Just having a look at the shape. Where things are going. So I can have a bit of soft wood in places. You seem to be cutting well there. And these gears need sharpening again. Right. Right. Now the rough shape is there. I want to get that out of it. Right. I want to start thinking about final cuts. Right. I'm going to check it for stuff like that. Want that out of it. There's that cutting. Not too bad. Don't like the shape of the bottom down there. I'm going to have to curve that in more. There's a bump just there. The top part isn't bad. From there to there is alright, but down further and I need still a little bit of that there to get rid of. Bump there. Bump there. Feather it out. Look at this. Have I got rid of all that wormhole? I have. Alright then, finished cut isn't too bad. Right then. It's time to finish the outside of this and I'll be right back. Right then, just putting the wax off. It's quite nice looking. There's a nice little inclusion down here that I'm going to try and keep. It's really strange seeing the stripes go straight up the side of the bowl. But see there about the stripes are almost gone straight up. That is nice looking. There's a little inclusion. I'm going to have to clean it out because there's wax and stuff in it. But yeah, quite pretty. Right then, we'll flip this over and get it hollowed. So I'll set up for that, we'll be back in a second. Right then, we're flipped over and the right height. First thing, of course, level off the top and then we'll go from there. Let's have a look, see at the cuff. No, it's still there. I tell you, cutting across all of this dark is really blunting the tool very quickly. Especially outside that dark bar there, is blunting it very quickly. There's obviously some piece of really dense wood in this because I can feel the tool blunting as I'm going. Right then, just wanted to find the width. Seeing as how it's end grain, I definitely do not want it too thin. Just there. Now I'll just start hollowing as normal. Now, because it's end grain, you can back hollow if you so desire. I prefer doing it this way. It's just a personal preference. Oh, there is some really hard wood there in the middle of that. There is some very hard wood in this. So it could be that. So I have to sharpen again now. I could be sharpening an awful lot during this. Right, I'll give it another sharpen before I do that finished cut there. Right, finish cutting the rim. Check that. No, I've got a chip there that needs to sit there. That's old, so I must have missed that when I was taking it down. See what we got. Do we have a clean edge? No, still there. See, it's chipped there. I must have missed that when I was rounding it. Still there. I got it. Right then, here we keep hollowing. When you're doing end grain, you have to be very careful around the rim. Yeah, that's okay. Right, sharpen again. I've had a piece of Tigerwood like this before. Well, it wasn't end grain, but I had to sharpen every, I think it was 6 cuts. I will be going with the negative rate scraper at the end of this, just to get a pull cut on it. But yeah, blunt again. And we're gone again. It's weird, I can actually feel those hard bits hitting the gouge. I'll get that in a bit closer. It's that there, it's doing it. See this black line? That's what's making the wood so hard. There's some more in the middle, and then it's time for the curved tool rest. It's enough of an overhang. Right. Now we just switch out for the curved tool rest. Sorry if that's whiting anything out, but I can't actually see what I'm doing in there. Right, I need to get that closer. Now, do you see that black line there? That black line is like flipping iron. Oh, touching. And that's what's blunting the tool so often. That little section there is going to be lovely. The section that's giving me all these problems is actually going to be really nice. Right, and we got to go sharpen again. I have to keep this tool rest close to where I'm working because that hard bit is catching the tool and it's lifting it, so I need to get as close as I can. I keep leverage on my side. Alright then. Now, negative right scraper. I'll tell you what, we'll have a little game just for the crack. Right? How many times did I have to sharpen to hollow this bowl? I have no idea. I'll guess 17. Right? Let's pause the video now. Have a guess down below in the comments just for the crack. Right? And what I'll do is when I'm editing the video, I'll count up how many times I had to do it. And I will put the answer up after you pause. So pause for a second. Here's how many times I had to sharpen just to hollow it. Right then. Now we get a fresh bore on this negative right scraper. Line it up and we will do the inside. When you're doing end grain, your finish cut should on the inside of the bowl should always be from the inside out. Right. And it's just a lot easier to do it with a negative right scraper. Right then, there's a bore on this. Check that that cutting is dead center. It is. Right. If this will even dent this wood. Right, there's a little bore. And I'm going to leave the grinder running because I'm going to have to keep going back to it. Bores don't last long with this stuff. Let's have a look, see how we're doing. Now we're pulling all the any tear out there was out of it. Still a little bit of tool marks just there. Right, so let's say another cut with this and we should be on to sanding and finishing. Right, let's have a look at it. Yeah, we can sand and finish that now. So I'll do that and I'll be back in a second. Right then, just buffing the wax off, and I brought the macro camera right down because I want to show you something that can happen with end grain. Right, do you remember earlier on I mentioned there was an inclusion on the outside that I was trying to keep? Well, it got bigger on the inside, right? And it ran along. Now there you can see it's all lovely and finished. No end grain tear it around. Flip it around to the side the inclusion is on. Right. The inclusion is basically on the far side of this black wood. Right? If you can imagine it, it's right in the middle there on the back of it, right? You can see along here where the inclusion is spreading, right? And there's a little hole, there's a couple of little holes there on that side of it, but the main one is along there. It's almost like a crack, right? Now I could spend a few hours chasing that and I may or may not get it, right? I could end up going through the whole bowl chasing it, right? If you're doing end grain and you get an inclusion like that on the inside, when you get there, what's actually after happening is, right, imagine the rings as the rings on a tree, as if you get a load of paper and roll it up, right? The rings are the individual sheets of paper, right? And every now and again, they can, two of the sheets of paper can delaminate from each other, right? And something gets in between them. That's what an inclusion is, right? Or as the tree is growing, something it can pull something up and get in between them. There's a load of things that can cause it, right? But what's after happening there is two of the rings are after delaminating, and the delamination is running. Okay, so that's what I have on the inside there. Otherwise, it turned out pretty nice. Right, I rounded the edges slightly when I was sanding it, because I thought it would look better with the depth of the bowl. Right. As I said, she's very nice looking. The stripes are really nice in it. That's actually quite nice, that delamination. As I said, nothing I can do about it. Right, so I'll flip it over, I'll do the base, and I'll give you a better look at it. So I'll be back in a sec. Right then, there we have it. A nice little End Grain Tigerwood bowl. Pity about that delamination on the inside. But as I said, it happens when you do an End Grain. Sometimes you get them. And you can spend hours chasing it. I've learned from experience not to bother. Because 9 times out of 10, they run all the way through. And it just gets worse. It ended up at 11 by 5. Very pretty bowl, nice and deep, and I like the way the striping goes in it. Different to a normal one. So if you like that, if you got anything out of it, you wouldn't mind clicking like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.